The Savoia Marchetti S.55 was a double-hulled flying boat produced in Italy, beginning in 1924. Shortly after its introduction, it began setting records for speed, payload, altitude and range. The S.55 featured many innovative design features. All the passengers or cargo were placed in the twin hulls, but the pilot and crew captained the plane from a cockpit in the thicker section of the wing, between the two hulls. The S.55 had two inline contra-rotating propellers, mounted in tandem. The engines were canted sharply at an upward angle. The seaplane, Savoia Marchetti S.55X, was built with wooden materials. The hulls had a concave shape instead of the usual convex. This was done in an attempt to reduce drag during takeoff. The solution of the two hulls was particularly courageous. They exploited a cellular structure which allowed them to float even in critical conditions of damage and choppy waters. The S.55 managed to reach a maximum speed of 282 km per hour with a range of 4,500 km, excellent performance for the 1920s and 1930s. The aircraft was initially rejected by the Selection Commission of the Aviation Commissariat because it was considered too daring, despite responding to the specific requests. Later it was re-examined and finally its undoubted merits were recognized and it was adopted. Even though its design was unusual, the Savoia Marchetti S.55 was a remarkably airworthy craft. In 1926, the S.55P prototype set 14 world records for speed, altitude and distance with a payload. The S.55's greatest successes, however, were its many flights between Europe and the Americas. Among which the decennial air cruise was a mass transatlantic flight from Orbetello, Italy, to the Century of Progress International Exposition, Chicago, Illinois. The expedition, organized by the Italian Regia Aeronautica, began on July 1, 1933, and ended on August 12 of the same year. It consisted of 25 Savoia Marchetti S.55X seaplanes crossing the Atlantic Ocean in formation, forming the greatest mass flight in aviation history. The engineers Marchetti and Torre created a project, revolutionary for the time, which arouses perplexity in the eyes of pilots and testers, teaching us to dare, and not stay on the route traced by others. The 55 still flies in the animated film Porco Rosso. Although around 250 aircraft were manufactured, not a single flying example exists to date. Currently the only one left and preserved is exhibited in the TAM Aeronautical Museum in Brazil. In 2015 a group of competent and enthusiastic professionals from the aeronautical sector started the Replica 55 project with the aim of designing, building and flying a replica of the S.55X seaplane.